Every bullet fired in every war was sold by someone. A businessman, signing paperwork, collecting a check. The global arms trade is a $130 billion industry, and the biggest dealer? It's us. The US controls 42% of the global weapons market. We sell to allies and sometimes to enemies too. But that's the part they want you to see. Behind the handshakes, there's a shadow market worth billions more, where weapons go to cartels, warlords, and militias that recruit children. This is the arms trade from the inside. Most arms dealing is completely legal, and it's dominated by governments. The top exporters? The US, France, Russia, Germany, South Korea. America controls 42%. Get this, in 2023 alone, the US approved $80 billion in arms sales. That's more than half the countries on Earth make in a year. Here's how it works. Saudi Arabia needs jets. Lockheed Martin sells. State Department approves. Billions change hands. And the companies? Lockheed, Raytheon, Northrop, they're publicly traded. Super Bowl ads, lobbyists in Congress. This is the clean side, the polite version. But between legal and illegal, there's a place most people never hear about. And that's where it gets ugly. Picture this, 2007, two kids from Miami, Ephraim Diveroli, 21, and David Pacus, 25, land a $300 million contract with the US government to supply ammo to the Afghan army, running the operation out of an apartment. Their company won the contract through a government website. The Pentagon was desperate for cheap ammo. Diveroli stepped in. The problem? The ammo was decades-old Chinese surplus, rusted, corroded, and Chinese ammo was banned from US contracts. So what did they do? Peeled off the Chinese labels, stuck on new ones, shipped it to Kabul. They got caught. Diveroli went to prison. Pacus got house arrest. Hollywood made a movie about it. But here's the kicker. We only know their names because they were terrible at it. The real middlemen are much better at covering their tracks. The key tool? An end-user certificate. A paper where the buyer promises not to resell. Sounds reasonable. Except certificates can be forged. Once the weapons leave port, nobody checks. No tracking number, no FedEx. The guns just vanish. And some end up where they were never supposed to go. Now we're in the world of Viktor Bout, the merchant of death. When the USSR collapsed in '91, it was Black Friday for weapons. Stockpiles of AKs and missiles, unguarded, up for grabs. Bout bought Soviet cargo planes, hired ex-military pilots, and built a logistics empire. He wasn't making weapons, he was delivering them. From Africa to Afghanistan, he didn't care which side. In some conflicts, he sold to both. At his peak, he had over 60 aircraft. He became the inspiration for the movie Lord of War. In 2008, a DEA sting took him down. Undercover agents posed as FARC rebels. Bout agreed to sell them surface-to-air missiles, knowing they'd be used against Americans. He got 25 years in U.S. prison. But here's the twist. In 2022, the U.S. traded him back to Russia for Brittany Griner. And by 2024, according to the Wall Street Journal, he was back brokering arms to Yemen's Houthis. You can't make this up. But Bout is just the famous name. The real engine is simpler. Weapons leak from legal stockpiles through corrupt officials, battlefield captures, theft. The U.S. estimates 200,000 firearms are smuggled into Mexico every year. 70% of guns at Mexican crime scenes trace back to U.S. stores. 5 pipelines from Texas and Arizona into cartel territory. Our guns, Their cartels, our problem. And then there's the newest chapter. Dark web marketplaces sell guns like sneakers. Listings, reviews, crypto payments. Most are pistols, a few $100. But the real game changer? Ghost guns. No serial number, no registration. No history. Build one in your garage with a 3D printer. Printer, $600. Blueprints, $12. Some are free. ATF seizures exploded 157%, from 7,500 in 2019 to over 19,000 in 2021, linked to nearly 700 homicides. And here's what's terrifying. These guns don't exist on paper, can't be traced, can't be tracked. Manufactured, used, and discarded like burner phones. The perfect weapon for the perfect crime. So where do all these weapons end up? In the hands of kids. In 2024, the UN verified over 7,000 children recruited as soldiers worldwide. The real number is estimated at 300,000. An AK-47 costs as little as $30 in Africa, light enough for a 10-year-old, simple enough for a child to operate. In 2024, the UN recorded 48,000 conflict-related civilian deaths. Small arms were responsible for up to 30% in some regions, and nearly 33,000 grave violations against children, the highest ever recorded. Every weapon was manufactured somewhere, shipped by someone, sold for profit. That's what the spreadsheets and stock prices don't show. That's the cost of doing business. So who's trying to stop it? The ATF runs operations targeting trafficking networks. Since 2025, they've seized over 36,000 illegal firearms. Europol has dismantled smuggling rings from the Balkans to Western Europe. And there's the UN Arms Trade Treaty, signed in 2014. Over 100 countries ratified it. But here's the problem. The US signed but never ratified. Russia and China didn't even sign. 3 of the top 5 exporters aren't bound. And even for countries that did sign, enforcement is voluntary. No inspectors, no penalties, no teeth. It's like a speed limit with no cops. Sting operations catch middlemen every day. But the system that creates the problem, the legal market feeding the gray zone bleeding into the black market, that system is still running at full speed. And as long as there's profit in war, someone will sell. The arms trade is the only industry where the product is designed to kill, and the biggest sellers claim they want peace. Every conflict on the news, someone made money supplying it. The system is broken. The UN treaty is useless. Russia and China didn't sign. We signed, but never ratified. So while you scroll, somewhere a crate of guns is loaded onto a plane with a fake address, and a kid is picking it up. Hit subscribe to go deeper. Next video, Counterfeiters. $500 billion. Fake passports, fake medicine, fake designer bags, and they're way better at faking it than you think. See you there.